Does running a dual wire feed on a small 700 watt laser make sense over the single wire feed? Let's try it out. This is a brand new dual wire feeder for the Xlaserlab's X1 Pro laser welder. Now, I've been using this welder for the last several months, about 4 or 5 months with the standard single wire feed, and I think it works really well with a single wire feeder. I have several videos that are up using this welder on the channel. I'll link those in the description below if you want to learn a little bit more about it, see some material tests, find out if these welds are real. Now, I'm truly curious how much benefit we'll be able to see with a dual wire feeder on a 700 watt unit, because this is on the low end of the wattage, though I've actually found it to be a lot more capable than I expected. If you've seen my other videos, you'll see the results of some of those tests. Let's compare this thing to the single wire feeder on a few different joint types. So here's my X1 Pro sitting on the cart that I built for it. Now, I built this in a video actually using the X1 Pro. So if you're looking to build a cart for yours, be sure to check out that video in the description. And up on top of the cart, I have the original single wire feeder loaded up with some 0.045 or 1.2 millimeter steel wire, just ER70S6 MIG wire, which I've found to work really well. And this wire feeder is really a pretty nice one. It has dual drive rolls, and it's an actual Swiss feed mechanism. So I've been pretty happy with the wire feeding itself out of this machine. I'm going to be running some 1/8 inch thick or 3 millimeter thick steel today, and I'm going to run it in 3 different joint configurations, all of which have a fillet weld. So the first configuration will be a T-joint like this. The next configuration will be a lap joint like this. And the last configuration, which I expect to see the biggest benefit actually, based on my conversations with them and my experience, is gonna be the outside corner. See, outside corners like this typically had underfill, and I'd have to make a couple of passes so far using the single wire feed. So I'm hoping to see a lot of benefit here out of the dual wire feeder. It's like magic. So cool. I'm excited to compare this with the double wire feeder. Once again, beautiful little joint there. I wouldn't mind a bit more fill and to have it spread out a little bit more. And lap joints are one that they said they've seen a lot of benefit from the dual wire feed. So I'm excited to see how that affects it too. Last up is the outside corner. Again, beautiful little bead, but I would like a little bit more fill on there. I would probably run a few more passes. Let's take a look at the unit itself and the included accessories. The full metal case, pretty sturdy build, and you put one roll in one side and another roll can go in the other. Now, it has wheels on the bottom, but it's kind of a unique setup. So with the handle extended, you just roll it around like a suitcase. And while I appreciate the creativity, I think if you had 2 full-size rolls in there, so you're 80 pounds with the wire and the unit itself, that's gonna be pretty heavy for this mechanism, but could be pretty useful. I'll probably just set it on a cart. The front panel is similar to the single wire feeder. You just have a wire feed and retract button, which is really nice. Not as nice as if those were on the gun, but it is nice to have them directly on the unit. Let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. So it's still dual drive rolls on both sides, and rather than a Swiss feed mechanism like the other one, this is an e-power. So this is a Chinese made wire feeder that looks very similar to the Swiss feeds, but has a few differences. Now this actually uses a spur gear to engage the idler with the drive. So your true 4-wheel drive all the way through here. So a really, really nice setup there. Now for the dual drives, there's just a single motor. It's a healthy size motor that's attached here. E-power once again, and that connects into a metallic gearbox, and you have a direct actual geared connection between the 2 sides. So they're going to be synced up for sure because of that solid build. So pretty solid build here overall on the wire feeder. Definitely nothing to be disappointed about. It is sized to fit 2 full 12-inch rolls with the, the 4-inch wide rolls. That is a ton of wire for laser welding. They did not include adapters, and I was surprised to see this, but there's no adapter to bring this down for an 8-inch roll because, you know, if you're buying aluminum rolls, stainless steel rolls, you might not want to spend the full amount on a 12-inch roll for laser welding because you just don't go through as much wire as you do with MIG. So I'm actually 3D printing a couple of those adapters as we speak. Of course, includes the electrical cable as well as the dual cable here. So it just has 2 connections to go into those wire feed ports, and it will feed out into 1 connection here that connects up to your gun. Now let's see what came in the goodie box. You know, if you do any mechanical assembly on a fixture table like this, this is a must-have. Go pick one up at Harbor Freight. One of my best purchases from there. Anyway, let's pull this out. We have a variety of different welding nozzles here, and then also drive rolls. And what I'm impressed with here is it includes, I mean, in the machine there's a set of drive rolls, and then there's 1, 2, 3 additional sets with V-shaped rollers for solid wire steel and U-shaped rollers for aluminum. So they have specialty rollers, and that's a big upgrade and going to be really helpful. So I'm impressed to see that. Now here is the whole song and dance you've got to install onto the gun. So I'm going to figure out how to do that now. So I'm about to connect up the feed cables, and one thing I will note is these things are long. So it's going to take a little while for wire to feed all the way up through them. Now each side just slides in like this, and rather than using the threads on that end, you just secure it with this screw. Like I said before, they didn't include an adapter for an 8-inch roll. So I found this one online and 3D printed it, and that's just amazing to me that you can do that, except that it doesn't fit. And the problem is it turns out they just let anybody upload stuff to the internet. So I drew up my own right here, and I'll throw that on there and load in the wire. Now the spool brake on this thing's pretty good. It's one of the better ones I've seen. Not the very best I've seen, but better than most. Now I'm going to back these off a little bit. Most people run these idler tensions too tight on MIG welders, and I assume the same on these wire feeders. You don't need it that tight. You don't want to put all that wear on the mechanisms. Now the fastest I can set my wire speed here is 50 millimeters per second, which is pretty slow. It really needs like a jog feature, unless I just don't know about it, but I'm not aware of one. So I guess I'll just press the wire feed button and hold it for as long as it takes. We have wire. I've got to assemble this whole space gun. You've got this double cable. Ferrule fits into here, and then this slides into there, and then a tip here goes into the end. I think it's going to be better to put this whole assembly together and then slide it into the gun. Okay, here's the setup I ended up with. I put this linkage back in to get a better angle up here, and I'm keeping this contact tip right here up close to the nozzle to be able to keep the wires side by side so the cast of the wire doesn't have an effect. Let's go ahead and run this on a T-joint. Now, as I got to looking at this, look, it's like there's a total lack of fusion down here in the toe of the weld. And I think that the wire is getting in the way. So I'm turning up my scan width here, and I'm going to try this again. I will say that result looks pretty nice. Looks to be a little bit bigger than the other. We'll measure it and compare these dual wire feed with the single wire feed here in a minute. Let's go ahead and move on to a lap joint. Pretty slick little weld. Easy money right there. Definitely some more fill. Let's go ahead and compare these. All right, let's look at the T-joints here. This is single wire feed. This over here is with dual. The fillet weld size is the most obvious thing right here. I did my best to measure it with calipers. This is right around 80 thousandths of an inch, where this is about 100 thousandths of an inch. So 25% bigger on the fillet weld size. It's a little bit more consistent, as you might expect. And notice it's a little bit cleaner, not quite as much oxidation. That could be a few things. One, the nozzle for the dual wire feeder is a little bit bigger, and I did turn up the gas flow a little bit because it was, you know, a larger area. So that could have just been better shielding, or perhaps the additional wire is kind of a heat sink. So that could be drawing some more heat out of it here on the surface. So either way, they're both totally acceptable results visually. But I think that, you know, the larger fillet weld size could be nice. Now from a weld testing perspective, I'm not going to take cross sections and etch them today. I just don't really have bandwidth to do that. But I will run a fillet weld break test where I'm bending them open from the root. So all of these welds are only run on one side, and it's really a worst case loading condition. So if they do break open, I can see if I got penetration all the way in. If they bend over rather than breaking, you can assume it's going to be strong enough for most situations, because this is really a worst case loading situation. That root is not opening up very much. Let's see if we can't clamp this tight and get a little insight here. Held up really well with the single wire. I've done a lot of testing with the single wire, including cross sections, lots of fillet weld breaks, so check those out in other videos, but no surprises here. Now for the big one on the twin wire. Once again, not welded on the back side. Yeah, that root is holding up really well. Yeah, that's not budging at all. Fact of the matter is, either one of these is gonna work just fine. I don't know that you have a huge advantage from running the twin wire on this, but it definitely doesn't hurt, and I think you would have a little bit more durability. Now, if we look at the fillet welds on lap joints, this right here with the single wire, this on the right side with the dual, the single wire is a much smaller fillet weld size. Once again, significantly more material deposited here with the dual wire feeder, which you'd expect. Both look perfectly acceptable. But if you did want to have a little bit more fill for, you know, aesthetic reasons, or even from a strength perspective here where you're dealing with a lap joint, this could be beneficial in some cases. Now let's bend open the single wire lap joint. It's not welded on the back side at all. Now this one is opening up at the joint. Let's just work it back and forth. Now this one opened up pretty easily. I didn't have nearly as much penetration into the joint as I've seen on other lap joints like this, but you know, real world results, I'm going to show you what I actually ended up with. And it looks to me like that was a result of this shear cut edge. It rolls up, so I don't really have enough material to consume that when I'm depositing with the single wire. So still probably strong enough for a lot of things, definitely decorative things, maybe even some structural things, but certainly would like to see more strength than that. Now let's try the dual wire lap joint. Yeah, there's a big difference there. And they said that when I was asking what a good application for this dual wire feeder is, lap joints and outside corners, so you know, this is not necessarily a surprise. So there's just a whole lot more material there to cover it. This first one, in all reality, was a fairly poor performer compared to others that I've had. Now that I switched over to the dual wire feed, I'm not going to rerun it. You can watch those other videos to see, you know, you can get a pretty sound lap joint, but this definitely exceeds what I've seen. For a lap joint, just laser welded on one side with a 700 watt machine, mind you, you gotta admit that's pretty stout. Now here on the outside corner joints, there's a huge difference in the amount of fill. Here with the single wire, there's definitely not enough fill to just grind that down to a corner and have enough reinforcement there, right? You'd have a weak corner. So if you were building, let's say like a big diesel tank and you wanted to run all the outside corners using laser, you'd need to run multiple passes with this, where here with the twin wire, I think you could just run the single pass here because it's filled in enough, just a quick touch with the grinder to round things over, and you'd be in really good shape. So I think for that application, the twin wire definitely has a lot of advantages. Here with the outside corner, we've got a single wire. Backside, you can see we got good penetration all the way along. Pretty strong. I mean, I'm pulling pretty hard on this, but it is yielding in the joint just because that material is fairly thin. So you'll see it closed up like a book right there, but it's holding tight on the root. So if I work at this one's gonna pop open. If you take a look at that fracture surface, it's just not that big. I mean, you got good penetration. It deposited what it could running with a single wire, but you can only get so much. Now here with the dual wire feeder, you can see it's pretty full. I would touch this with a grinder just to take off those edges, but you're gonna have a whole lot more reinforcement through there, and you still see that good penetration right through to the bottom. See how it's not bending open because you have so much more weld deposit there. So definitely some benefits there on the outside corners too. Obviously you could run like 2 or 3 passes and end up with the same result if you didn't have a dual wire feed, but single pass, this is what I'm seeing. All right, to wrap it all up, I'm gonna answer the 3 questions that I had about this product. 1, is it well built? Is it a good quality wire feeder? 2, does dual wire feeding provide any benefit? And number 3, is it something that I would use in a practical situation? And to answer the first question, is this a well-built machine? I think overall it is a really well-constructed wire feeder, especially given the price point. Right, when you get industrial wire feeding equipment on MIG welders or things like that, that can be in the thousands of dollars for a high quality feeder. This right here is well under $1,000 with dual feeders, comes with a dozen drive rolls, all the hardware you need, 2 feed tubes, it's got the nozzles and all of that. So I think when you factor that in, it's really well made. Now let's talk about whether there's any benefit to running the dual wires, because I was pretty skeptical as to whether you'd see any benefit, especially on a 700 watt unit. Now on the fillet weld and a T-joint on this 1/8 inch, remember we're talking 1/8 inch thick material, which is kind of getting to the top end of what the 700 watt unit is really set up to do, at least on the regular. I don't think there's a whole lot of benefit for the fillet weld on a T-joint. Seemed to be pretty apples to apples. So you did get a little bit more size, maybe a little bit more durability in a cyclically loaded environment where you might have fatigue. But for most stuff, single wire is fine. Now, when you got to the lap joints and outside corners, just like they told me, that additional fill seemed to make quite a bit of difference and really had a positive impact. So I think there is a benefit there. Now the third question, am I gonna use this on the regular? I think most of the time I'll still probably use single wire feed. It's completely adequate for most things that I do. When I get up into thick material, I'm still running an arc process most of the time. And so the single wire has been a really nice fit. That being said, if I was running a whole bunch of outside corners, on larger tank or something like that, I probably would set it up and it'd be worth the benefit. And if you aren't sure or you think you might use it sometimes, you can use it as a single feeder. You can just load in one roll. The other one will just spin free. And then if you got yourself the feed tube and mechanism for a single feeder to go along with it. If you want to learn more about this laser welder, see a whole ton of testing across a wide variety of materials and thicknesses, as well as practical fabrication projects, be sure to check out the videos linked in the description below where I go through all that. And if you do want to pick up any of this, there is an affiliate link in the description along with any current discount codes that help to support the channel. So I really appreciate that. If you're buying it anyway, it's no extra cost to you, but if you're not, if that's not your thing, no worries at all. Hey, thanks a ton for tuning in. We'll see you next time.